Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
To be called on board the United Airlines flight, the 57-year-old said he was in pain and felt dizzy and nauseous.
In the space of just 6 months, Mike Tyson has had another collapse after his penalty for allegedly staging a fight between Holm and Jake Paul on Netflix was read out. And Joe Rogan, a fan and friend of Iron Mike Tyson, isn't liking the constant health challenges Iron Mike Tyson has been made to face.
25 million and 40 million?
I think 20 and 40. Yeah,
20 and
I think that's
40.
what I'd heard. You know, which I'm happy Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was going to be a real fight and he was going to get hurt.
You've known him for a long time.
While he has been lenient about the fight and every other thing, this didn't seem to sit so well with him. Seeing that things are becoming really complicated for Tyson, before the fight, Mike Tyson faced some health challenges. During the fight, he also complained of a biting fixation. In fact, he almost tripped and fell during his walkout. And then, ever since the fight ended, it's been from one controversy to another. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, and Netflix found themselves in court after a man sued them all. First for Netflix failing to deliver the fight as expected, and then for the fighters staging their fight against each other. This led to a court order that each of the accused bodies cut out a certain percentage of their purse to compensate the fight fans for such a disheartening experience.
In breaking news, streaming giant Netflix is being issued a class action in relation to the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. TMZ reports the lawsuit is over streaming issues.
This was most displeasing to Mike Tyson, who took the fight in the first place to secure his finances and avoid any future bankruptcy or brokenness. And coupled with other health challenges he's been having, the boxing legend collapsed and was rushed to the hospital where he's been receiving medical care. UFC color commentator Rogan discussed the whole incident on the latest edition of his Joe Rogan Experience podcast with guest Josh Brolin.
He's a larger-than-life figure in my childhood.
Truly, me
when
too.
I was a kid, when he was the champ, it was like, people don't understand what a champ he was. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't just the heavyweight champion of the world.
Brolin said, perhaps tongue-in-cheek, that he thought the fight was amazing before he began laughing, and Rogan went in to discuss the finances involved in the well-publicized fight. Rogan said he heard the fighters get paid $20 million and $40 million, though he did not clarify which fighter he believed got paid what. And Rogan revealed he was happy to see that Tyson, who is approaching the age of 60, did not get hurt during the bout and emerged from the ring unscathed after fighting a man who he is 30 years older than, admitting it had been a fear of him ahead of the fight.
He was an executioner.
Truly.
Every fight was just a matter of how long was it going to last.
Which fight it was that I went to go see a couple of fights, and I actually went to go see Julio Cesar Chavez fight.
He said, "It's amazing they got paid so much money for that. I think $20 million and $40 million, that's what I heard. I'm happy that Mike got the money, and I'm happy that he didn't get hurt. That was my fear, that it was a real fight, and he's going to get hurt. However, now that what Joe Rogan feared the most is happening," he said,
The guy's face, and I watched that confidence bleed from his face instantaneously.
Yeah.
He had absolutely lost the fight long before Mike had ever gotten in the ring.
"I hope it doesn't get worse. He's been hurt, but if managed well, he'll be fine. I don't know why he's being sued. Whether staged or not, a 58-year-old walking into the ring and pulling such a huge crowd should be celebrated." Netflix is facing a class action lawsuit from a Florida subscriber left unhappy by the unwatchable live stream of the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson boxing match. Ronald Denton from Hillsborough County filed the lawsuit on Monday in the Florida State Court, seeking unspecified damages on behalf of consumers who were affected by the constant technical issues during the stream.
Streaming issues and a breach of contract. Thousands of viewers claim they had trouble watching the fight. Netflix is yet to comment.
The match ended with YouTuber Paul, 27, knocking out heavyweight boxing legend Tyson, 58, with a score of 80, 72, 79, 73, 79, 73. The bout of 8 two-minute rounds was Tyson's first professional contest since the boxer retired in 2005, though he did box Roy Jones Jr. in an exhibition match in 2020. It was billed as one of the biggest and most controversial fights of all time, but several subscribers took to social media to complain about buffering issues on Netflix, which streamed it.
2-minute rounds. Tyson wanting to see more action. Wabota, Evander Holyfield, you get the gist.
And everybody was saying,
Benton's suit alleges breach of contract by Netflix, as well as violations of Florida state laws around deceptive trade practices and consumer protection. The streaming giant, it alleges, was woefully ill-prepared to broadcast the match. What they saw was the baddest streaming on the planet, the lawsuit says, according to USA Today. Boxing fans, along with the average Americans wanting to see a legend in what would most likely be his last fight, were faced with legendary problems, including no access, streaming glitches, and buffering issues, it adds.
Jab right there that really knocked Jake back. But then we see
Move over to your left so I can see
the
the
right hand grazes.
To the returning legend. Nice body shot, Paul. 12 of 53, 20.
Netflix customers experience massive streaming issues and should have known better because it has happened before. Instead of providing the programming its viewers pay for every month, Netflix was completely unprepared and unable to fix the issues. The commentary team for the match was also plagued by audio problems as Evander Holyfield appeared unable to hear presenter Kate Abdo through his earpiece. Jerry Jones had to borrow Michael Irvin's microphone after he broke it.
3%. Tyson coming up in that fight with
That mouthpiece.
Oh, left hook. Triple left hook.
Right there. And knocked Mike off balance 2 times. And Mike.
But for the Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor fight, the whole night would have been a flop. It was as disappointing and terrible as you can imagine. It's quite challenging to behold for many like Joe Rogan, who had first battled the fear of seeing him almost gone when he had an attack in May. Mike Tyson suffered a medical issue during a flight from Miami to Los Angeles International Airport. A spokesperson for the boxing legend confirmed to ABC News. In a written statement, Tyson's representative said the former heavyweight champion became nauseous and dizzy due to an ulcer flare-up 30 minutes before landing. The health complications might have a negative result on the fight, even though they happened for a short period of time. Fears of the fight being canceled paved the atmosphere as the issue occurred weeks ago before the big fight happened.
He will be 58 years of age. So, Keyshawn, how credible is this fight?
It's credible, but that's kind of where the...
According to In Touch Weekly, passengers heard an announcement asking for medical professionals roughly 30 minutes before the plane landed in LA. Claims were revealed that passengers were reportedly delayed from disembarking for 25 minutes after the flight landed so that paramedics could attend to Tyson during his visit to LA for the oncoming fight. Further claims from Tyson's representatives told the New York Post in an email that he became nauseous and dizzy caused by an ulcer flare-up before landing. He appreciated the medical staff that were there to help him. The health issue raised a lot of concern about his presence in the fight with Jake Paul prior to his medical issues.
We're joined by Evander Holyfield.
Claims that the medical emergency of the legendary boxer caused a 2-hour flight delay were ridiculed by the boxer's representative, claiming the delay was caused by issues with the plane's air conditioning. The news came weeks before Tyson was to return to the ring. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul were to compete in an official fight, sanctioned bout with 8 two-minute rounds using slightly larger gloves than normal.
You heard it right, motherfucker. I'm fighting Mike Tyson.
Pictures of the 58-year-old being wheeled through Los Angeles airport in a wheelchair went viral after Tyson became nauseous and dizzy around 30 minutes before landing, prompting talks over the internet about the fight he was to have with Jake Paul. In the fateful moment, eyewitnesses recounted the incident, noting Tyson's importance as a passenger and the urgency to ensure his well-being. An eyewitness in the plane narrated how the incident happened, saying that he was in first class, but we were in the exit row. They asked us to stay on the plane and landed so paramedics could enter. The stewardess said something like, "He's a really important passenger, so we want to make sure he's okay." I know it was him, but I just mouthed the words Mike Tyson, and she nodded her head yes.
I love you, man. I just love being with you.
Well, I love being with you as well.
Yeah.
In both ways.
Yeah, I know. And I feel that from you. So How many of you have been a fan of Mike Tyson for years?
The exhibition fight being at hand, Tyson admitted to having daily used marijuana in the past, but has now refrained from using the substance during his training for the upcoming fight, as it is listed as a banned substance by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. Additionally, for a better performance in the oncoming exhibition fight, he added that he had temporarily abstained from sexual activity as part of his training regimen. Speaking to USA Today, Sports, TDLR Communications Manager Telemange explained that fighters over the age of 36 must submit favorable results from an electroencephalogram and an electrocardiogram. Mange added that we can also request additional testing if we think it's appropriate. Despite the claims from his representatives that Mike is doing great after the health scare, it remains to be seen whether Tyson passes medical tests and is deemed fit to fight Paul this summer. Former British boxer Carl Froch made a significant claim about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul when discussing the contract details behind this summer's much-anticipated fight.
And I wasn't going to do anything about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, but it's on my mind, it's bugging me, it's not right, so I'm going to just give my response to it.
Froch also explained that, from what I'm hearing with the contracts, allegedly, he gets paid less if he wins in round 1, Tyson, or if he gets a knockout, he gets paid even less. Froch told safe betting sites, there's restrictions in his contract based on how he wins. I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I've read somewhere that there's a clause in his contract that means he's going to earn less money if he goes out there and destroys Jake Paul.
Listen, as soon as I heard that, I just thought, this cannot be happening. You can't be putting a guy in his mid-20s, in against a guy that's approaching 60 years old.
These claims towards the boxing champion proved the opportunity of the fight being canceled. Evander Holyfield, who infamously had his ear bitten off by Tyson, made a bold claim about the former heavyweight champion ahead of his first professional bout when he was asked for a prediction.
See what could happen.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, it's with the confidence the other guy. I don't know how much confidence.
Holyfield told Fight Hub TV, I don't know. It all depends on how Jake fights. The point of the matter is whether Jake Paul takes a good shot. He added that, I have never seen him get hit by anybody, but you never know, Mike might just quit in the ring and sit down and say, I'm done. The boxer had no support over Mike Tyson seeing him as old to be back in the ring. In a series of posts on X, Sonnen claimed Paul wrote into the contract as Tyson's backup, while suggesting that his June 15th boxing match against old UFC rival Anderson Silva is a tuned up ahead of that potential opening.
Crazy, man. Well, speaking of Mike Tyson, these people that think that he don't stand a chance against Jake Paul, they're like, this shouldn't even, like, because he's too old. I was like,
Sonnen explained that, I guess it was wise of Jake Paul to write me into the contract as Tyson's backup, wasn't it? He added that, if Jake Paul realizes he might be fighting me in a month, he might be the one having a heart attack.
I think you're crazy.
Well, they're definitely uninformed.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, he is 57 years old. He will be 58 when they fight. He has had a...
The claims posed a great challenge towards the planned fight between Mike and Paul. Claims from other professionals made it clear that the dangers of Mike Tyson fighting at his age were pretty straightforward. Despite the plans for the oncoming fight, it was predetermined that anyone past 50 years of age was to be extremely careful not to suffer any blows in the head. Professional forensic experts weighed into the topic and came to a conclusion that Mike Tyson's life was in real danger if he was to participate in the fight.
I died in front of people many a time. And it appears that I resurrected myself, I guess.
To add more weight to that, the health complications made it more significant for Mike Tyson to reconsider the decision of participating in the fight. British boxer Dave Allen said the following on TalkSport, as far as the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight goes, I think it's dangerous. Mike Tyson is one of the greatest heavyweights that ever lived, but at his age, he shouldn't be getting hit. He went on further to explain that Jake Paul is a young man, he's in shape, and he's ended up being a half-decent professional boxing prospect. So for me, it's dangerous and shouldn't be happening.
2 kids. I sleep with one of them. I sleep with one of them, and yeah, she's not been very well. Out the house this morning, early training, then back.
Even though the fight was highly anticipated by both fans and other boxers, the majority of the boxers were against it, claiming that Mike Tyson is old and he shouldn't be in the ring at that age. The boxing legend has had a couple of reasons that would make him pull out of this event before July 20th. Perhaps the most obvious one being any type of serious injury that Tyson suffered during the training camp leading to this event. Other potential reasons are a personal matter or any other type of medical condition Tyson would suffer near the date of the event. The health scare that Tyson experienced is not an exception.
For Tyson says he experienced a flare-up from an ulcer but is now recovering. Tyson is in the middle of training for his July boxing match against YouTube star Jake Paul.
It is clear Tyson is still one of the best around in short bursts, but it remains to be seen if he can keep up his work for an 8-round period. The former undisputed champion already suffered a damaging defeat to the end of his professional career, losing 3 of his 4 final fights before retirement. Tyson had been documenting his training and footage as posted to social media, with some fans surprisingly impressed by his punch power and suggesting he will beat Paul. However, his new footage crushing the pads with trainer Rafael Cordeiro has been met by new pleas from fans for Paul to abandon the fight plans. Former champion Deontay Wilder is the latest to speak out concerning the oncoming exhibition fight, saying, "I don't want the last thing I remember of him to be him getting knocked out by a YouTuber. The last thing you do, that's what people remember you by?"
Oh, Sheffield for sure. I got a big part of my heart for Sheffield. I met a lot of great people there.
Wilder expressed his concern, explaining that he didn't think anyone truly cared about Tyson's well-being. He explained to Sportsbook Review that, "I think it's bad the commission has licensed Mike Tyson because he hasn't been active in almost 20 years, so they should not just license him because of who he is. That's how people get hurt. God forbid he gets hurt." Wilder further explained that people can get hit in the wrong place and at the wrong time. There's lots of examples where guys have been hit into a cum. It's easy to do. He's too old for this. At the end of the day, no one gives a hell about Mike.
One of the first places where boxing was developed and stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
In England, absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely. So it's good to have my name written in history.
The announcement of the matchup raised eyebrows and caused some to call it gimmicky. Ahead of the fight, Betway asked Joe Gallagher, British former amateur boxer, his thoughts on the upcoming bout, and he said, "I don't know how anyone could sanction that as a proper professional boxing contest. I love Mike Tyson, and he was phenomenal in his prime, but to be giving somebody a license at that age is concerning. It's concerning where boxing is going at the moment."
Gigs and all that, and they have all that talent, and I've tried to take some of his stuff and try to work with my fighters, and boxing, it's about man management, and it's knowing not all fighters are the same.
Gallagher further complained that Jake Paul is a boxer and YouTube star sensation, and I just think the Texas Commission need to look at themselves for allowing it to happen. He added, "We could all accept an exhibition. It's been going on for years with Muhammad Ali. Floyd Mayweather have gone around the world doing exhibitions, but to have professional contests and for Mike Tyson's career to have it on his record if he loses to Jake Paul at his age, well, you have to look at yourself there."
So, like anything, you want the best, and when you're going to do a hard day's work.
Gallagher mentioned that the fight is being commissioned as a professional match, but with different conditions. He added that, "I'm sure that type of fight wouldn't be sanctioned by the British Board of Control, but over in Texas where the fight is, and the venue, the crowd, and where it's going on TV, I'm sure there will be fees paid to the commission from the bout. So like in life, money talks."
Primary school together in Wythenshawe. I recall the first day he went boxing. Well done, he's achieved a lot, Jim.
Other boxing professionals like Bisping were not left behind and had a lot to say about the fight. Bisping said, "I respect him. This is taking massive balls to go in there against Jake Paul." Now listen, maybe it was an ulcer flare-up. I don't know anything about ulcers, but what I know is that the man is almost approaching his 60s. A man in the prime of his life doesn't have a problem sitting on a plane for a few hours. The Count emphasized how the circumstances present a bad look for boxing, with Paul saying, "This is just a great example of why a fight like this should not be going ahead."
On Instagram, Twitter, do the rounds on social media, and I am shocked, I am saddened, I'm disgusted with what I saw, and I'm not being a hater.
Meanwhile, a senior lecturer in medicine at Anglia Ruskin University warned that the fight could see Tyson suffer fatal injuries. Dr. Stephen Hughes claimed that as an older man and recovering alcoholic, Mike is at risk of suffering a subdural hematoma, a tearing of veins in the brain. However, Tyson's trainer Rafael Cordeiro played down those concerns and insisted his fighter will be in the best possible shape heading into the bout. Rafael Cordeiro said on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, I believe we don't have to be concerned about it. We're talking about a 2-time world champion. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.